Hi, this is Gary, and today we're going to be starting to get the garden plot up and ready for the tomato plants this weekend. And here's where we're going to be planting some tomatoes. I've got 6 rows. You can kind of see where I put chicken litter on down each row. A lot of weeds have come up. A lot of weeds are starting to grow. I could bring the tiller in here and till it up, which is not necessarily a bad idea, but I'm going to try the wheel hoe. It doesn't disturb the soil quite as much. And once we do that, I'll come back and plant the tomatoes, so that way it'll look better. And so this part of the video is pretty short, but this is the wheel hoe I got from Haas Tools a few years ago, because you got to do something to control these weeds. And basically you just run this thing down and it will, pull up the weeds, rough up the soil. You're not really, tearing up any. You're not tearing up the soil structure or anything. You're just knocking that top off, and it does a pretty good job of killing everything. It's just a little time consuming. Makes a small swath. It will give you a good workout, and it will get almost all the weeds. But you have to do something, or these weeds will just totally take this place over. We've gotten several inches of rain. One inch rain, we got 4.5 inches, and we got another big rain that probably 2 or 3 inches. So everything's got wet, everything's growing. We're in the 70s now, and things are going to start growing. Whether it's weeds or plants, and basically I'll do this over the whole thing, just digging up those weeds. It's also killing any small weeds. Maybe you can't even see them, but little weeds are coming up. These weeds like this, they'll kill. So anyway, when we come back, I have all this done, because this would be boring to watch the whole thing. And after get all this done, then we'll go back into planting tomatoes. Today's Thursday afternoon. I'll get this done the next 2 days, hopefully. So Saturday, after we go to shooting practice, we'll be able to take the plant the rest of the tomatoes. I'm going to plant about probably 90 to 100 tomato plants here. Why do I need 90 to 100 tomato plants for 4 people? But anyway, that's what we're going to do. And see you next time. Okay, it's 2 days later. I did go ahead and get this all run up with my wheel hoe, and got most of the weeds. I am raking down the rows to make sure I get any of the weeds that aren't quite, dead yet. And I planted 2 rows of them so far. This row here is my paste tomatoes, and you can plant them 1 or 2 ways. I'll show you here in a minute. But these here were laid down and planted, so the actual roots are right here, laid them down, and they were laying down flat, and they'll go ahead and curl up themselves, as you see. That way, except for this one might be a little bit too long, but we'll find out if it goes ahead and straightens up or not. Like I said, I planted those yesterday morning, and these over here, I just dug a hole deep enough to plant straight down. The bad part about planting them straight down is you do get into colder weather. You're also getting into soils that may not be quite as nutritious. So that's the bad part about it. Kind of the good thing about it is it's easier, and where that root ball is. Where these here, I'm gonna have to be careful, because when I put cages around them, or I stick anything in here, I gotta make sure I don't hit that root ball, because it probably won't kill the plant, but will stunt the plant pretty bad. Now, show you how to do this. I got my new knife. That's a knockoff Hori knife. Dug my hoe down here. And this is Polish. This is my first Indeterminate. And these are ones I potted up. Be careful with them. You don't want that root ball falling apart on you. And you just set it down and just cover it up most of the way. Then you want to come in with water, because I'm a big, other than, if I'm planting a plant other than potatoes, I always water stuff in, because you always have air hose and things, and that water will get rid of those, because what those air hose will do, it'll dry out the root hairs, and then that's what kills the roots. You know, the root hairs is where the plant actually makes the nutrients. And then try to cover, mix up something so I can put some water in it. Make sure you put the marker down. I will write these down. The other way to do it, if you have a big long plant like this one, and you know, if I was to get down where I want it, that's that deep. So what you can do is just lay it on its side, dig down, give you a little trench. And that's probably not quite deep enough. Make sure when you put the dirt on, you don't break it, and then you have it all covered up to about right here. This will straighten up, and then you'll have it done. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do that one, but like I say, it works better if you got the small root ball, so that way you can make a root about like that, lay it down, cover it up as much as you want covered up, and it comes on up. That way your root ball, all your main roots are right here, top of the ground. You can get to moisture easier. It's not really deep. Your more nutritious soil is usually the top 6 inches. So if you're going deeper than 6 inches, you're kind of getting into some, well, it's not really subsoil, but for soil science go crazy. That 6 inches is your most nutritious part of your soil. And I know they say, well, these will put on roots all up and down it, but I have dug them up later, and still the majority of roots is right down here. They may put roots up here, but they're not as robust, they're not as good. I still think that your main roots is right there. Yes, they will put on roots, but I don't think they're as good as roots. I haven't done any type of to prove that, but anyway, these are the ones I got planting here today. I've got another 60 plants to plant. It's on a Sunday, 2:30. I got church at 6, so hopefully I can get at least 2 more rows done. And those I did yesterday after gun practice, the same thing. But like I say, they look pretty good. These right here are my hosinators, the first 8 coming up through here. Then I changed over to Homestead for the next 3. The next one of them was the Neptune. That's the only one I have the Neptune out with me. Then I went to Roadster for the next 3. And then I went back to Homestead because the plant just looked really good. Now, you'll notice it's a real nice sunny day today. That's not ideal, but these plants have been outside, so they're pretty well hardened off. But really, you want to have a, you know, cloudy, still day, ideally. But of all the cloudy days we've had in the past, I don't have one this weekend, so sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But if you haven't hardened them off, you really need to, because they will get this burn on here, and this doesn't have much burn on it. It did have a little bit, but this whole thing will turn white like that and really hurt the plant. So do need to harden them off. Easiest way to do that is just set them outside for 1 hour the first day, 2 hours the second day, 3, 4, in a week you got 7 hours outside, so you're good. After 2 or 3 days, you can actually leave them out overnight. That helps them too. And that's what I did. The first part of it, I was bringing them in every night, and then left them out overnight for a day or 2, and then I left them out basically from, well, since Wednesday they've been outside full time. Well, you're bringing them in and out. When's the last time you brought them in?
The night before you came.
So we came back Thursday. So Wednesday night, I guess you brought them in, and then Thursday night. So, and I had left them out 1 or 2 nights before that, I think. So anyway, that also helps because the wind and all that, you know, you just don't want to stun them. Now, ideally, you know, what size tomato plant would I like? One this size right here. Now, this is a little bit limpy, but, you know, it's a smaller, you know, about the right size. Let me see if, well, there's another better one over here. If they were all like this, I'd be happy. I don't really want the really big tomatoes, but they grew too fast on me. You know, it's a nice size. You can cover it up if you need to cover it up. It's not going to blow over. It's going to get some time to, you know, that's the size you want. Having these big old size like this, I don't think helps you that much. I mean, this has already got blooms on it. I don't take the blooms off. Not saying it's good or bad. I've always had this fear that something's going to happen and I'm not going to get anything to, it's not going to make later on because it gets too cold or it gets too hot or something. So I tend not to take things off unless it's a little small pepper plant. Yeah, you can take that. Pepper plants will get stun out on you. Tomato plants not quite so much. They grow more like a weed. So anyway, this is going to be, I'm probably going to put the video up and then I'll show it later. But if I get everything done, I'll show the rest of the video. But this is probably going to be the end of it. So thanks for watching, unless you see more at the end. Anyway, see you next time.